Welcome to the Block Podcast. My name is Dallas. This is my wonderful co-host Robin. This week, the topic is going to be regret.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No regrets.
This one's tough.
Yeah.
Just dive right. What about regret would you say is scary for you?
Ooh. I feel like the whole process of regret is basically scary because once you start thinking about certain things that you regret, I feel like it goes down this long loophole of scary things that could happen or what should have happened or how things are going to go after that. Mm-hmm. What about you?
I think for me, kind of like you said too, like that loop, but also just like sitting in that feeling of, was that the right decision? Was that the wrong decision? Like, what if, and you start creating all these scenarios that haven't happened or aren't going to happen,
right?
Based off of like,
thoughts.
Feeling bad. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, feeling bad in your thoughts about it. Do you have any specific examples or something or what comes to mind, I guess I should say?
Ooh, that's deep. That's deep.
When you think of regret.
Regrets, for me, I guess more so when you think about regrets, it's like I feel like sometimes not being far enough, like, oh, I should have stayed in school or I should have, I should have went to the military or something like that. I don't necessarily regret those things because I feel like everybody has a purpose for their own life in certain things, but certain things, I feel like when it comes to being on the right path in life, you may start to regret, like, oh, I didn't make the right decision here or I didn't make the right decision over there.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think, hindsight's always 20/20. You know what I'm saying? It's like, even something like spending money on certain things. Like, I wish I didn't spend that on that. But in that moment, I wanted that thing or something. For me, I think it's the fear of failure that really, like, what comes to mind when I think of regret. It's like the reason you don't make, or I personally don't make decisions is because, like, what if I mess up? What if I'm not as great as I think I am? Which is, I get not perfect, but like that's just when I think of regret,
I feel like regrets are just a part of life. I feel like I always hear older generations saying like, well, you have to make mistakes in order to, actually understand things and you have to go through those times in life where you're going to have to go through those regrets because like, I feel like they teach you things. I feel like they help you grow up into the person that you are. A life with no regrets, it seems like an easier life. It seems like it would be an easier way of living, but I think I'll take the regrets more than anything. That way I can know how to moving forward, I guess, and not make the same mistakes or get myself in certain situations twice. So.
Yeah. I think for me, I have I don't want to say problem, but like when I'm not good at something right off the bat or fairly soon off when I try, like I lose a lot of interest in it. And I think that for me, that is a place that has built a lot of regret because it's like I wasn't willing to fail or be bad and then get better at it. And so now it's like, dang, I should have done that. Yeah. And I should have, pushed myself through the being bad and through the difficult times so that it is what I wanted it to be. But like, it's hard. It's hard, I think.
I feel like it's just one of those things that you just have to go through, regardless if you wind up regretting it 20 years later. Do I feel like you can avoid, going through situations that you might regret? Like, yes, absolutely. Yeah. But because we're so young and because we're still trying to figure everything out in life, I feel like regret can also be an important part to navigating where you're going. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Do you have any, or how do you live your life day to day or big timeline in a way that you feel like you're not having any regrets?
I don't feel like I live my life like that. I feel like if anything, I just try to take the day by day because I'm not perfect. There's things that probably happen on a day-to-day basis and I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have done that way, or maybe I could have acted a different way, or maybe I could have changed my behavior or my doing. I don't think I try to live a life with no regrets. I think I just try to take it day by day.
I like that. Yeah. I like that. I think that for me, it's about being okay with failing. Yeah. I think that's how I'm trying to live my life every day is like, you can't make every decision perfectly in every moment of your life. So it's how do you react and deal with those emotions? Yeah. once you made those decisions, you know?
Yeah.
And I think kind of like boundaries, kind of like trust and stuff like that. Like, you don't realize when you're going to regret something or how much you're going to regret something till after the fact.
Yeah.
Till like after it's done and it's like, dang, I wish I... So it's hard, like...
If you knew better, then you do better.
You know?
So, yeah.
But I also feel like when we work with kids, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like for them, I have a lot of patience. And I can go a whole day like, that's a kid, you know, hoopla, hoopla. But the second I get on the highway, I hate everybody.
You in this highway.
I hate everybody, okay? Driving is a peaceful and stressful time for me.
You got no regrets on the highway, huh?
And it's like, dang, I get home and I'm like, maybe I didn't need to be so angry that whole way. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like little things like that I feel like sometimes add up, build up. And it's like cutting that off is what I'm working on.
I feel like we're all human. We all go through things on a day-to-day basis. So I feel like where I am in life right now, I just try not to hold on to my regrets so much because they can bring you down. They can make you upset. They can make you feel like you're not doing a lot of the right things. So I try not to like sit in my regrets and just try to be better moving forward.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to be like, oh, I did this wrong, or I didn't really move this way. It's like, that day is already probably gone. That day is probably already passed. Like, how can you be better moving forward?
Right.
For you, cutting people off on the highway. Maybe you like, hey, sir, excuse me, can you let me in real quick?
Come on, blink around for once in a while, you know?
I actually need that spot right there. So, yeah, I think it's just all about really just getting better and making sure, like, if it is a serious regret, learning how to overcome that regret and how you can be better in the future. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have this is I looked up just philosophy of regret, and this was from the Duke University Press. They said regret teaches us to give up our expectations of what we think should or might occur in the future, and also the idea that we think we should do, and also what we think we should do will always be the right thing to do.
Right.
So I really like that because it's telling us like I said, like, just because you think this is the right thing to do doesn't make it the right thing to do. And that's okay if it isn't the right thing to do. Right. You don't have to be upset about that, you know. We have to, like you said, live in the moment, take it day by day. Once we start making all these expectations for things that haven't happened, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, now I'm sad because it didn't happen the exact way that I thought of it in my head and stuff like that, which I think puts us in a loop.
I think, like being teachable is important too. Like when we talk about regrets, because it's just like, I don't know everything, you know? And so I feel like I have to train myself to go along through life and be like, okay, it's okay for things to not go your way. It's okay for things to not play out the way you thought they would, or for someone to correct you. Like, just be teachable at any moment and just kind of take it all in. And, you know?
Absolutely.
And then that whatever someone may be teaching you in that moment, like, you know, you might move along later and be like, okay, well, I can navigate through that better. It may not be a regret in the end. So
I like this too. This is from David Charles. There it is.
Charles, right, Charles.
He's a philosopher at Yale University, or a professor who teaches philosophy. But he quoted these people, Nietzsche and Spinoza, that they follow this idea of amor fati, or love of fate. And the negative aspect of regret is unnecessary and even irrational, they said, because we ought to embrace the undulations of life. So their whole idea, I guess, is, you know, the unexpected and things going wrong. That's the beauty of life.
Yeah, definitely.
So feeling bad about it, I kind of like that, you know, like feeling you shouldn't feel bad about things not going your way, because that's how life works.
One thing not going your way, that just means that something better is possibly coming. That's what I've learned too. Like, so what if you get told no over here and you're like, oh man, maybe I didn't make the best decision, or maybe I didn't go about that the right way. But no is not necessarily always a bad thing. Like, I like that a lot.
You taught me that actually too. Like, you're like, you know, a lot of things going bad, that means something good is on your way.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's how my family kind of raised me. I want to say more so like, okay, they always had this saying where it was just like, up, one bad thing happened, up, two bad things happened, up, three bad things happened. Okay, maybe now it's time for something good to happen. And during those times where all three bad things happen, I'm like, man, I regret doing this, I regret doing this, I regret doing this. But they're like, you have to find a way to find the beauty on the other side of all three of those things.
Yeah, so, that's what's up.
I like that.
Also, shout out Zach. He's the one that told me, he said, delayed does not mean denied.
Delay does not mean denied.
So, just because it ain't taking the time that you think it is doesn't mean that it's not going to happen in general. And I feel like that also is something I try and keep in mind because
delay
that helps.
Does not mean denied. I like that.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, stick with you.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And I think that helps me a lot, especially in terms of like decisions where I think I'm going to make the wrong decision or you make a decision and the waiting time is a long, like if you're applying for a job or something like that. And it's like, now was that the right decision?
Yeah.
Delay does not mean denied. It don't mean your blessings ain't coming if they're not coming right now.
That's how I try to live on a day-to-day basis. I feel like so many things, it's so easy. We always talk about how it's so easy to get caught up in what everybody else is doing, what everybody else has going on. But just focusing on you, the things that you're trying to get better at, I feel like that makes regrets, I don't want to say worth it, but you kind of understand because like you start to understand, okay, I went through this because of this, or like I can get better at this because I went through this. So I like that.
I think for me too, something that goes along with regret is comparison and how like comparison is the thief of joy. And it's like, you grow up and you see people your age, you see people younger than you even like doing these crazy things, know, and making a bunch of money, doing these crazy jobs, traveling here and there, whatever. And it's like, dang, maybe I should have done that back then. Or maybe I should have done, worked harder at this. And like, I feel like that also plays into this like cycle of
regret.
Where you're comparing yourself. I have a lot of
people like that. I was just talking to somebody about that the other day, and they're like, well, they were comparing themselves more so to someone on TikTok. And I'm just like, this person's 28, we're 25. And they're like, man, this person has their life so much put together. And I'm just like, man, I don't think we should compare ourselves to anybody because that just makes the life journey a little bit worse, in my opinion, because you don't know what that person did to get there. You don't know how they got there, what it took for them to get there. They could be doing it the illegal way. They could be doing it the legal way, So I feel like everybody's journey is different. And I feel like that's so important, especially when it comes to not regretting certain decisions that you have to make in your own life.
Yeah. So. I feel like the possibility of how many things you could miss out on because you think like you missed your window of opportunity just because of like your age or something like that, or you tried and failed is, I think, insane. But I feel like that's what, like, I do that a lot. And I feel like, well, they've already done that. So amazing. Who cares? When we start the podcast, oh, there's already 50 million podcasts outside. Why? Who cares what we got to say? But it's like, I feel like I would regret not doing this so much more than just letting my mind run off and not try.
I agree. Those thoughts did come when I was like, we should start a podcast. Like, we should do this. And then I just see so many people. I'm like, man, that's already such a blown up idea. So many people have podcasts. But I was like, if we don't do the podcast, then the negative outcome would be like, dang, y'all should have did that.
We're going to spend our whole time like, we should have done our podcast.
Y'all could have got everything. So, I'm glad that we made the decision, and I'm glad we're not sitting in regrets.
That leap of faith is the hardest part.
Yeah.
But it's the most important.
Yeah.
It's the most, just like, instead of thinking it's like something negative on the other side, I try my hardest to just stay positive. Like, imagine what would happen if this podcast blows up, or if, and even now, like, this is so much fun.
Yeah.
And we would have never had this meet every Saturday. Record, have breakfast,
lunch and dinner. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But I do think it's important. Like I said, because I don't necessarily want to live my life with a bunch of regrets and things that I wish I could have done. So every day I strive to just be better and make sure that I'm doing the things that I love, working on the things that would benefit me, help you, help the next person. So and just having faith, like you said. Yeah.
I think everyone should do one big thing that scares them.
I ain't jumping out of no planes.
I'm not
going on no roller coasters.
All the answers were on the other side of the skydive.
I can't swim. Stop.
What if you love deep sea fishing? You would never know.
I can't swim. So these are things. These are my regrets. Yeah, like regretting never learning how to swim. Regretting probably never going to jump out of a plane. Regretting
you could do all of that, and I'm so excited for the future.
2024. I guess I'm jumping out of a plane. I guess I'm swimming in the lake.
That's gonna be one of our episodes.
No. Those are my regrets. Yeah, no.
But imagine Just imagine you did jump out and you're like, wow, that wasn't the worst. I made it. I survived. Now what else can I go and accomplish that I was scared to accomplish?
I watched my friends do a polar plunge recently, and I just looked at them. In a polar plunge where you go jump into ice cold water. And
after running a 5K.
After running a 5K, yes. And my initial thought was like, I could have did that with them. So I had all this regret in my head during the time. They don't know. I was like, man, I should have just ran the race. I should have just did the polar plunge. But... yeah, I still regret that to this day. To be honest, I should have jumped in that water, but I can't swim. So those are my regrets.
They would have pulled you out eventually.
Things that I feel like I should go accomplish and go after. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna take the back seat on this one. So, yeah. I gotta learn. I gotta get out there, man. Facing fears.
Do you have a question?
Yes. How does regret factor into your decisions?
Woo.
I think how does regret factor into my decision? I feel like as I get older, the idea that I'm going to regret it plays a bigger role now.
Yeah, for sure.
After like seeing so many things that I did regret or do regret, like, not getting into art more and like, or cooking more or something like that. It's like, okay, now that I know what it's like to have the regrets.
Yeah.
I don't really want to keep putting myself in situations where I keep that cycle going. So I feel like nowadays it's like I have to at least try.
Yeah.
At least say I hated it and then push, to the next thing.
Yeah. I feel like I just think about it in my life as a whole. I'm so big on like what I should be doing or where I should be. And like I am one of those people who fall victim like, oh, you're not far enough in life. You're not, you're not doing this or you're not doing that. So I really just try to stick to the plan. I really try to execute the goals and dreams that I have in my life because I don't want to look back and regret anything. There's been so many times, even as a teenager, where I was like, man, you should have just went to go play basketball with that AAU team. Or like, man, you should have just, you should have just did something, but you did nothing. And so I really try to make sure that I'm standing on business all day, every day for myself, not just for everybody else, but for myself, because that's how I felt like I kind of weigh out my regrets. If I feel like I'm doing better, then I don't really care about all the other stuff that went wrong. So,
right.
Yeah.
It's important also too to listen to yourself. I think sometimes I get into like a mindset where it's like, oh, I have to do this. It's like, no, sometimes you just don't want to do things also, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to feel like I'm always obligated to do something because I'm scared that it's going to be terrible on the other side. Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes it is. Sometimes you make the wrong decision, and that's okay too.
I feel like we need those regret pushes, and by that I mean like I feel like regret is an important thing because like I said, if you did not go through that regret, how would you know what you need to move forward, or how would you know how to navigate through what's next? You may go through the next thing and be like, oh well, that didn't work out, so that didn't work out. But I feel like regret is what you need to understand that there's better on the other side. So
that risk is worth it.
Yeah, like jumping out of a plane.
Like going swimming.
No.
I like that one. That was a good question.
I love the audience. It's my favorite part. So yeah.
I think that's all I got really.
Well, I think that's all we have for you guys this time. We want to thank y'all so much for tuning in to the Block Podcast. Once again, I am Robin. This is my wonderful host, Dallas. And also, we always want to give a special shout out to our videographer, producer, editor, Libby behind the cameras. Thank y'all so much. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And then we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah.
Don't forget my high five.